Mic check. What's happening? Going on, you good people? Man, I just ate so late, boy. I know I'm gonna be regretting this later, but I had to eat something. Trying to fight the itis. But nah, boy, I was doing something in the kitchen, fumbling around. Think I might have been cooking, cleaning. One of this who looked up. Well, it was dark as hell. I'm starting to wind down then. Oh man, it's dark. Ooh, we go ahead, take the outside clothes off. Go ahead and start winding down. Give me something to drink. Give me something sweet. Figure out what I'm gonna watch for the night. Get all that done after I clean up this kitchen. Get done cleaning the kitchen. Look up at the clock on the microwave. What's 4:39 p.m. Ooh, I done mentally checked out for the day, and it's 4:39. Man, that can only mean one thing. Starting to get dark earlier, so it's about that time. 'Tis the season, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Fall season. Crazy when you ask people who are in the fashion or talk like they in the fashion, they always say that fall is their favorite time of year. I always ask why. Cause I get to put these fall outfits on. I bet cool. Usually they think that's the end of the conversation. I got a follow-up question. I bet. So how often do you go outside? Not often. So you can't wait for the time of the year where it starts to get a little bit colder so you can put these clothes on and then not go nowhere. So it's put that ish on season, I guess, for one. For the preppy crowd or the least melanated of us, it's spooky season. That means it's white girl, pumpkin spice, everything season. Time to go on hay rides. It's time for apple orchards and spiked apple cider and pumpkin carving, whatever y'all fall people do. So it's time to get your Halloween costumes together. And it's preseason for all the ballers, for all the hoopers, for all the scouts out there. I'm not talking football. I'm not even talking basketball. It is that time of year where competition is at its highest, where folks all around you are starting to stretch, starting to get limber. They already did their scouting. Now it's time to shoot their shots. Good old cuffing season. Nothing like it. People's mannerisms change. They get more intentional about where they going, what they look like when they get there, who they going with, who they going for. It's, folks start to get real intentional about the who, what's, where, wins, and whys. All for cuffing season. And this is me just going out on a limb here. This is going to be the first not lackluster, but unfulfilling cuffing season in a long time, because now we're starting to see the effects of these hot girl summers piling up, where folks got into a rhythm of, I do what I want all year, so I act how I want all year. So I'm gonna treat people how I want all year. And once that becomes a mindset, that becomes a personality trait, there's no cutting that off to let me be more personable just for cuffing season. Nah, I'm a brat all year. That means cuffing season, I'm gonna be a brat. So that don't mix well with cuffing season, because every year cuffing season's always been like mini COVID, which is why it was interesting to see folks complain about COVID when they've been going through this process over and over just for shorter stints of time. I find somebody, I'm gonna lock in. That means we gonna be stuck inside till it get warm again. And cuffing season again goes with spooky season. The cutoff date for cuffing season is a week before Thanksgiving, because you're not locked in by then. Because cuffing season got to end early, like NBA preseason. We got to figure out what the logistics are for Thanksgiving. Whose place are we going to? Where are we collecting these plates from? Are we Black Friday shopping, or are we acting like it? We just gonna shop online. We got to start getting our outfits together for Christmas. Are we wearing the matching pajamas like everybody else? Do I buy your kids something? Do you buy my kids something? Are we gonna be pregnant after this? All of these things come into play. So that tampering period, that free agency then opened up. Once you start seeing them leaves start to fall, that chick that you've been following on Instagram, or that dude that you've been following on Instagram, it's time to start liking more pictures, leaving more comments, sending more DMs. Like, hey, I know you've been outside, but it's time for us to go in the house. What you trying to do? It's about to be a treacherous situation. But with that being the process, right? It's kind of interesting when you see the dynamic between spooky season and cuffing season, how they always coincided with one another, but they never bled together. We not doing none of that spooky-ish when we doing the cute-ish. The closest that they'll come together is if we go on a date to a haunted house. But the whole activity stayed over there. The scary activity stayed over there. The cute stuff all gets filed over here. And it was always separation. But now it's starting to tie together. And I said the whole shit because spooky season went from Halloween being a holiday about kids getting to play dress up to get candy that they not allowed to eat large quantities of any other time of the year, to adults dressing up. And it's mainly just women dressing like hoes and men dressing just cool enough to be around the hoes. Honestly, 'cause Halloween, you're going to see who can be the most naked but still look like some reference point. You rarely see women wearing long gowns with wigs and makeup covered up. It's, I got these leggings on, see through. My titties is out. My ass is out. I'm gonna bend over so you can see it all. And then there's a dude just like Nelly in the 2000s with a band-aid on his eye, a headband over his do-rag, long t-shirt, some big denim jeans, and some forces. Every year you're gonna see it. But again, this is just, and I try not to do this too often. Try not to prognosticate on what might happen. I more so like to watch things play out, assess it, understand why. But with this, I pretty much see it coming. This is gonna be one of the first cuffing seasons that I can remember where folk don't even make it through cuffing season. Just hey, I'm still outside, but it's cold, so I'm not like outside. Like I'm gonna be at home until you want me to come over. Type cuffing season compared to we locking in and then we'll see everybody else when springtime comes back around. And again, it's a result of we outside doing what I want. You doing what you want. So you treating people however, I'm treating people however. And folks who keep people at an arm's distance are gonna have to sit next to one another, and then you get to see firsthand what somebody's like. And that's what already is ruining a lot of relationships before they even start. Is you wanted to fuck, and now you next to the person, you realize you don't really like them too much. And nothing makes that more obvious than being in close confines with somebody for an extended period of time. For 1 or 2 days is cool. We can eat, watch enough TV, be on our phones, work, have sex, be distracted for 2 days. But once you get to like a week, that's when you start seeing the problems pop up. Like, dang, the phone always ringing. Dang, you always on your phone. Like, you don't never put it down. Dang, why it's dirty in here? How often do you clean up? All these little knick-knack issues that you didn't care about before. They were always there. You just didn't care about them. Now they in your vicinity. They in your comfort zone. They in your bubble, and you got to deal with it. Today's adult gets an A+ in reproduction. Y'all can make kids easy, like quick and easy. Like ain't got to think twice about it. You can make a baby better than you can turn oxygen into carbon dioxide. But when it comes to like conflict resolution or actual communication, accommodating or any kind of negotiation, folks get I said D, just to be polite. Wouldn't say an F because you got to do some of it in order to be able to fuck. You got to communicate at least that much. But working through conflict, adjusting for on somebody else's behalf, not putting self first, it's not likely. So it's about to be an interesting cuffing season. And I always like to suggest that as humans, we humble ourselves because a lot of ego comes from folks thinking that they're gods or that they're special. And again, a thing I like to say is we're all unique. None of us are special. You're not above anybody. You're not less than anybody. You're on the same playing field. You're just unique. With that being the case, cuffing season happens around the same time every year. Want to know why? Because it's easy. The answer is because it's cold outside. you're not going to have the same amount of access to these individuals as you would before, because you're not outside as much because it's cold. They not outside as much because it's cold. And that's also the hibernation period for other animals. We going in the house because it's cold, getting up all the food we can, getting whatever mate we found, and we getting put up. So humans react like every other animal. But it'd be interesting to see how often do bears get into it to a point where one bear got to go back outside during hibernation season and start over. How many squirrels and rabbits are coming back outside in the middle of the fall or middle of winter because they need to figure out where the hole is at again because they picked the wrong one. Somebody should look into that. That would be interesting. Real interesting. And the main conversation I want to have about this being the season, right, is with it being cuffing season, this is also a season of self-reflection, because anybody that works out, you know that you bulk when it's cold, cut when it's warm. So with that being the case, you have to figure out what it is that you want to work on. And if you wait until the wintertime, it's already too late. You got to do it in the fall when you're winding down, because the fall is also a time where you can look back at what you've already done. Look back, all right, bet I did this, and that in the spring and summertime. Here's what I didn't accomplish. Here's what I want to accomplish. And then use the wintertime, the dead period, is, all right, bet here's what I need to do. Here's my process. Let me plan this out. Excuse me. And let me figure out what steps I need to take in order to get to where I'm trying to go. And when you can go through that process, by the time you get to the winter, you're already placing your steps. You're figuring out where you need to be at, when you need to be there in order to get what you need done. So by the springtime, you just acting, compared to you thinking in the wintertime, you planning in the springtime, and then you gotta rush into action because there is no waiting period. There's no grace period. When you live life that way, not only is it follow the pattern of the seasons where springtime is actually the beginning of the year, but that's another conversation. But that's the time to start your plans. Summertime is when you, boom, really get into it, working. Fall time is, all right, bet. Time to reflect, figure out what I've done. Time for something new. And then the wintertime is basically the dead period where, all right, bet. Not too much activity is going to be happening. Not too many huge changes are going to come. This is where I pretty much close that chapter and open this next chapter. And when you do that with business and you do that with yourself and you follow the seasons, your body tend to follow. And then you get into the conversation about seasonal depression. Seasonal depression tends to act out of alignment with this, where you doing your reflecting in the wintertime, where you sitting in your thoughts and there's nothing happening. And when you reflecting in the dead period, you kind of far away from the results of when it was warm outside. You need to reflect close enough to the highs of summer. That way you don't feel far enough from it that you don't understand that it's coming back again, if that makes sense. When you reflect in the fall time, you still have enough good days or enough warm days to be able to connect with the memories that you made. And then you can build up that kind of stash of good vibes and positivity to last you through the winter time. If if you get what I'm saying, right? We're still close enough to the summer where I can still make good memories, but I'm connected to good memories. I'm reflecting on it. And because I'm reflecting on it, I now have enough of a stash to be able to go, all right, here's what I want to do the next time it gets warm, compared to wait until it gets cold. Like, damn, it's just cold. You can't connect as easily with any of the memories or the good trauma you experience because you're so far away from it. You feel isolated from your own mind. Now you're isolated from people. You're not socializing as much. And you're isolated from the sun because the sun's not out as much. So you're not getting as much vitamin D as you were before. You don't have the same positive memories as you have. You don't even recollect the dopamine rushes that you experience from the spring and summertime. And you just suffering through it. It's easier to reflect when you're not completely isolated and you're not just stuck in your mind compared to just being in a box and thinking about yourself. And when you're dealing with cupping season, right, you also have to take that into account where I need to do some reflecting on, all right, who am I? What am I working towards? And even though I'm about to be put up, who do I want to be put up with? Or how do I want to be put up so I can give myself the best chance to succeed next year? Because if you think about it, how our year is set up, even though to most logical folk, the springtime is the beginning of the year. In U.S. calendar, beginning of the year is New Year's. New Year's is the same way. But again, it's delayed. You in the middle of the cold period and you trying to reflect on everything that happened when it was warm outside. Now you trying to figure out what you want to do for the next time it's warm outside. And you're not making the most of your fall at all. You halfway through the dead period. So there's still some things that are going to be changing through that period. When it gets cold outside every winter, some things get left behind and some new things get picked up. That's just how our bodies work. Springtime, you spring back to life. Wintertime, everything's dead. A lot of things die. That's why seasonal depression is more impactful in the wintertime. But I'm also interested to see just how many people make terrible decisions this cupping season. Because again, with all that reflection, there's going to be folk who just don't reflect on nothing. They just do the same shit. A lot of summers are going to be ruined starting this cupping season. We say it every year. A lot of springtime, a lot of summer times get canceled out way before they even come about. Because folks are going to do some shit, whether it be pregnancy, whether it's lose a job, make a rash decision, manic decision just because you can't cope with being isolated, not being able to socialize as much. Your social health is at a all-time low when it's cold out, which is why the holidays tend to help out. You can socialize, be in a lot more positive environments, but you can make a lot more manic decisions when it's cold out compared to when it's warm out. The vibes aren't as high. But I'm just going to kick back and hope that folk learn a little bit of something, because crazy thing about it is the Trumpers still going to be Trumpers. A lot of laws that were changed when you were outside having fun, they're going to take impact when you can't do nothing but pay attention to them. You're going to be looking at a lot more news when you're sitting down. You're going to be looking at a lot more law changes when you're sitting down. You're going to be reading a lot more shit where you're just like, hold up, what? Folk been working this entire fall, there's been some happening, which is why fall is a time to reflect on. Hey man, what did they do all of this year? We need to know it now, because they don't make too many changes when it's cold outside. Because when it's cold outside, you're likely to pay more attention because you're not outside distracted. So, fall time. All right, man, what they been up to? What they doing? Bet, what are they planning on doing next? You got to know that in the fall, because wintertime, we're not going to do nothing because you're paying too much attention. So by the time you ramp up to start going back outside again, we're going to wait till you outside. We're going to bust you over the head with the shit we've been planning the whole time. But such is life. Yesterday was heavy, right? Like, talking about epigenetics so much and just having that conversation. I wanted to do something light today. Nothing heavy. Nothing too crazy. Tomorrow is going to be a little more intense, just because the topic is going to be, I mean, you'll see it, but just something real slight. Random fact of the day. Average human brain has between 6,000 and 70,000 thoughts per day. So that's between a little over 4 to a little under 49 thoughts per minute. In my opinion, being on either one of those ends would be terrible. You want to be somewhere in between maybe 10,000, 50,000, maybe 60,000, depending on what your work life looks like. But if you're on the low end, your brain not moving enough. If you're on the high end, your brain moving too much. Manic. Got to fix that. And it's interesting, right? Want to know at what end of the spectrum do people fall on that use social media heavily? Like, how do the TikToker baby brains work? How many thoughts do they have? For the folks who are addicted to some kind of substance, what end of the spectrum do they fall on? People who are isolated and don't have social lives, the people who have active social lives. Like, what factors and variables will swing you from one end to the other, and where would you land on there? These are all interesting things to think about. I won't be studying them because it seems like it will take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of participation, all for naught, because folks can't read, unfortunately. Remember, like 70% of the high school graduates can't read. So, all that work for who? The one person that does New York Times crossword puzzle or something. What? See you tomorrow, man. Yeah.